My name is Michelle Gregerson, and here is my implementation of Code of Ethics. What is Code of Ethics and why is it important? Code of Ethics are established by businesses that are either rules or standards that involve oftentimes some situations and some best practices for their employees to follow. They're also within compliance requirements, and oftentimes they can define one's business values. They're also personal code of ethics that are just as important, as they can guide one in their own values and their beliefs in their own life. And what I found interesting in doing this is that this quote by Lidwak that states that I obviously have the freedom to do what I want. Whether or not I have the right to do whatever I want is a different question. That was a quote that got me thinking within my own morals and beliefs. Code of ethics for educators. The importance is that it sets clear expectations for the people in education, as well as the public, displaying their code of ethics as a district on their website makes it available. And it also helps guide educators in their decision making, and that it is a commitment for educators to students and as a professional that they shall not unreasonably restrain the student from independent action in the pursuit of learning, and then also that they shall not, in an application for a professional position, deliberately make a false statement. These quotes are directly from the National Education Association website. So the comparison of the Code of Ethics I did between the Code of Ethics for Minnesota teachers and the Code of Ethics for Best Buy that are headquartered there in Minnesota. The commonalities that I was able to find between both of them was that as a teacher, they protect their students from conditions harmful to health and safety. That is taken from the Code of Ethics for Minnesota teachers. And in regarding to that, also in the Code of Ethics for Best Buy, that they will comply with all health and safety regulations, policies, and procedures, directly taken from the Code of Ethics for Best Buy on their website. The Minnesota teachers have no private relationships with students or parents. And then also for Best Buy, there's no relationship with employees to supervise. We, as teachers in Minnesota, teach students in a non-discriminatory way. And for Best Buy, I found the similarity under that they cannot refuse to work with a supplier or a customer. As a direct quote from the Code of Ethics for Minnesota teachers is that they shall disclose confidential information about individuals only when a professional purpose is served or required by law. And then on that side for Best Buy, it was found that they don't share confidential information with anyone inside or outside of Best Buy unless there's a legitimate business need. And that was taken from a direct quote. And then the last part that was common trait between the comparison of ethics was the community involvement. As the Code of Ethics for the Minnesota teachers, there's community involvement, whether it could be community dinners, some after school activities, provide resources for families in areas that could be a lower income. And then on the Best Buy side, that they're part of the community, they share organization where they would involve others. The differences in the ethics on the Minnesota teacher side is that they accept contract based on a licensed position and qualifications. also for the Minnesota teachers is that a teacher shall not deliberately suppress or distort subject matter, and then the delegation of responsibility is only to licensed staff. The difference is within Best Buy that I found is that they do have a responsibility of employee within social media and then the content that they publish. There was the antitrust and competitive laws where you are within pricing, the market, the customers, and restrictions in those within the laws. And that's the global trade laws. You compliant with any trade that you do outside of the United States. So implementing Code of Ethics for Minnesota teachers, that teachers will provide a fair and valid education, and that they will provide a safe learning environment, that their students' academic and personal information is classified and it's only disclosed upon any benefiting the child in any way. Teachers can and will face disciplinary action if a student's safety and academic learning are violated, or if the teacher's conduct and their personal beliefs interfere with their teaching of students. Teachers will not become involved with students or parents. When delegation responsibilities should be given, it's to appropriate staff. Teachers will not alter academic material or any academic records. They will not misprint their own or another person's credentials. They will not discuss student or colleagues negatively, and that teachers will apply and accept position that they are actually licensed for. The plan in enforcing and to evaluate this code is designing members of the school board, administration, and school staff from teachers, paraeducators, custodians, cooks are all part of the task force to determine the code, and it will align with the school's mission and statements and will be posted on the school's website along with the mission statements, and that everyone involved knows that it is revisable. The enforcement will be posted in the staff room in a new employee handbook and reviewed at orientation. And then a review of the code will be done on a yearly basis, as it is imperative that it is followed and is part of one's contract. And evaluation of this would be that administrators will observe teachers are modeling the positive behavior, and that their students or that they're making the correct student or decisions based on their students' needs, and that it is that educators are providing that positive, safe learning environment. So in conclusion, Code of Ethics is important not only to businesses, but in schools and your own personal beliefs. In education, we have the Code of Ethics to support our school's beliefs and our mission, and within the community, and that we all want what is best for our students. And by having the school's Code of Ethics helps for accountability, and so that the students and educators can be the best that they can. My references and the appendix.